All right, so get this. Today we're diving into a Kennedy assassination rabbit hole,
Okay.
but not the usual grassy knoll stuff.
No.
This is about something that should be simple, but isn't.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What is it?
Who found the rifle in the Texas school book depository?
Huh. You'd think that'd be like the first thing they figure out,
Not
right?
good.
A case closed.
You would think that,
Yeah.
but nope, not at all.
So what's the story?
Well, our main source this time is this article
Okay.
from July 2008, Dealey Plaza Echo.
Dealey Plaza Echo.
Yeah, it's like a research journal.
Uh.
All about JFK
Oh, cool.
by a British group who are like super into the assassination.
Okay.
And this article basically says there are at least 6 different people.
6?
Yeah, at least 6 different people who have at some point claimed to have found that rifle.
Wow. Okay, 6 people. That's a lot of contenders for one gun.
Right, that's what I thought.
So who are these people?
It's a real mix.
Like,
We got
yeah.
deputy sheriffs, a constable, detectives, even a patrolman.
Okay, so folks who you'd think would be pretty on top of evidence and procedure and all that.
Yeah. You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But the story is way more complicated.
All right, lay it on me. Who are our main suspects in the case of the missing rifle?
Okay, let's start with Deputy Sheriff Eugene Boone.
Eugene Boone.
Yeah. He said he found the rifle,
Okay.
but his stories about who he was with change every time he tells it.
Really?
Yeah. Like he can't remember who his partner was that day.
Interesting. Well, I guess memories can be a little fuzzy, especially in high-pressure situations.
That's true.
Right.
But it does make you wonder.
Yeah, for sure. What else is weird about Boone's story?
Well, this is a big one. He claims he heard the shots at 1:00 p.m.,
1:00 p.m.
which is a full 30 minutes after the official timeline.
Or something that's fishy.
Yeah.
And then there's the fact that Boone was a deputy sheriff.
Right.
So he wasn't actually part of the Dallas PD
Yep.
who were leading the whole investigation. Right. Right. So is there any tension between the Dallas PD and the sheriff's department back then?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
The article mentions there's some bad blood,
Oh, really?
but you have to wonder if maybe there was some competition.
Ah, I see. Trying to get credit for the big find.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Okay, who else is on our list of potential rifle finders?
Let's talk about Deputy Constable Seymour Weitzman.
Seymour Weitzman.
Okay. Now, he gave a really detailed description of the rifle.
Well, that's promising. We're like, details are good.
Yeah, but he described it as a 7.65 Mauser bolt action.
Oh, okay.
And here's the thing. That's totally wrong.
Oh.
The rifle they actually found was a 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano.
Wow, okay. That's not just like a slight mix-up. Those are completely different rifles.
Yeah.
So did he even actually see the rifle? I mean,
Well, that's where Weitzman's story gets really sad.
Oh, no.
Later on, he ended up in a mental institution.
really?
Totally convinced there was this huge conspiracy
Oh, wow.
behind the assassination.
That's heavy.
It really is.
Yeah. It kind of makes you think about like the psychological impact of all this, you know?
Yeah, like getting caught up in this huge event.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Weitzman's account is a bit shaky, to say the least. Who's next?
Okay, we've got Deputy Sheriff Roger Craig.
Roger Craig.
Now, he was totally sure that the rifle was a Mauser.
Oh, so he agrees with Weitzman, even though they're both wrong.
Yep, but he went even further than that.
How so?
He actually claimed he saw 7.65 Malus stamped right on the barrel of the rifle.
Hold on now. Isn't there something off about that? I thought Mausers didn't have that kind of marking.
You are so right. The author of this article actually did some digging
Oh,
and contacted the Royal Ordnance Factory,
wow, going straight to the source.
where those Mauser rifles were made.
Sad.
And they said, absolutely not. There's no way that inscription would be on a Mauser.
Okay, so Craig's claim is completely bogus.
Pretty much.
So was he lying? Or was it some kind of weird mistake?
It's a great question. And it just leads us deeper into this whole thing.
Oh, I love a good mystery. All right, who's next?
Okay, let's talk about Deputy Sheriff Luke Mooney.
Luke Mooney.
He was definitely there during the search,
Okay.
but he never actually said he found the rifle.
So a bit more of a behind-the-scenes player.
Yeah. But then later in an interview, he kind of implied that he and Boone found it together.
Oh, so his story changed a little bit.
Yeah, like his memory of the event shifted over time.
It happens. I guess memories can be tricky.
Okay, 2 more to go.
Okay, hit me.
DPD burglary detective Charlie Dellinger.
Charlie Dellinger.
All right.
Now, he never actually said he found the rifle,
Mhm.
but his partner, Detective Joe Cody, told everyone who would listen that Dellinger was the one who ran upstairs and found the rifle.
Wait a second. So this is like secondhand information?
Exactly. And to make things even more complicated, both Dellinger and Cody have passed away.
Oh, so we can't even ask them what really happened.
It's a true historical mystery.
Wow, it really is.
Yeah.
Like a puzzle with missing pieces.
Okay, ready for our last potential rifle finder.
Absolutely.
Lay it on me.
This is DPD Patrolman Paul K. Wilkins.
Paul K. Wilkins?
And his story is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears. Okay, so Paul K. Wilkins. What makes him the most likely candidate out of these 6?
Well, for starters, he's the only one whose name is on an official report.
Really?
Yeah, saying that he located the rifle on the 6th floor.
Oh, wow. So we actually have a document.
We do, and we know he was specifically assigned to search the depository.
Okay, so he was in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. It's already more concrete than what we've heard from the others.
Yeah, for sure. But there's more to it, right?
Oh, yeah. There's one more thing about Wilkins that's super interesting.
What's that?
Wilkins was apparently really familiar with a certain type of rifle,
Oh.
the Mannlicher Carcano.
Okay.
And get this. Just a few weeks before the assassination, his father had bought 6 of them.
6 Mannlicher Carcanos. Why?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know exactly why,
Mm.
but the article says Wilkins and his father were working on customizing them together.
So Wilkins had experience with this exact kind of rifle.
He did.
Which means he'd be more likely to ID it correctly than someone who'd only seen it once or twice.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And remember those early descriptions of the rifle as a Mauser?
Right, right.
Hmm.
Maybe someone who didn't know rifles that well could get them mixed up.
That's what I'm thinking,
Ah,
especially with all the chaos going on.
yeah, that makes sense.
So we've got an official report, a clear assignment, and he knew those rifles.
Sounds like Wilkins is our guy.
He's definitely the most likely. But hold on. There's one more piece to this puzzle.
Okay, tell me.
Sergeant Don Flush was also searching the building that day,
Right.
and he later confirmed that Wilkins was the first to spot the rifle.
Okay, so we have corroboration from someone who was actually there.
We do.
So if Wilkins' story is so solid, why is there even any debate about who found the rifle?
That's the million-dollar question.
Mm.
And this is where the chain of evidence comes in.
Chain of evidence, like on those crime shows
Yeah.
where they bag and tag everything.
Yep.
Carefully documenting the whole process.
Right. And the Kennedy assassination case, there's some serious gaps in that chain.
You mean they didn't properly document who found the rifle?
Well, there are conflicting reports and inconsistent accounts.
Really? Even about something as basic as what time the rifle was found?
You're not kidding. They couldn't even agree on what time it was found.
Wow. That's pretty shocking. I mean, you think something this important...
You'd think it would be handled carefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes you wonder what else might have been mishandled or misreported.
It's a valid point. And it's something to consider as we delve further into these stories.
Okay, so we've got the mystery. We've got the players. Conflicting accounts, disputed timelines.
Right.
A messed up chain of evidence.
Where do we go from here?
Let's go back to Deputy Sheriff Eugene Boone.
Okay, back to the beginning.
He's the first one we talked about. Yeah. And his story is a real mess.
Yeah, I remember. He couldn't even keep his partners straight.
Right. In one version, he's with white men. Then it's Whitman. Then it's Weitzman.
Yeah, like he's making up names.
It does make you wonder if he was trying to hide something.
Or maybe he was just trying to take all the credit, like we said before.
Yeah. And let's not forget about that weird timeline issue.
Oh, right. He said he heard the shots at 1.0.
A full 30 minutes late.
Something's not adding up.
It's like a real-life game of Clue.
It is, with all these cinematics and conflicting stories.
Exactly.
But like any good mystery, we need to pay attention to the details.
All right, so next up is Deputy Constable Seymour Weitzman.
Okay, Weitzman. His story was a sad one.
It really was.
But it also raises some questions about how reliable his memory was.
It's wild, right? He gave all those details about the rifle,
Mm-hmm.
but totally wrong.
It is strange. You'd think if you'd actually held the gun, you'd get it right.
Right. Was he just trying to sound important or what?
And then later on, ending up in that mental institution.
It's just so sad.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if maybe being so focused on the case messed with his memories.
Yeah, maybe. Even made him think he saw things that weren't really there.
It's possible. Okay, so we've got Boone with his changing stories and Weitzman with his wrong description.
Right. What about Roger Craig?
Oh yeah, Craig. He was the one who backed up Weitzman about the Mauser.
And even said he saw that inscription on the barrel.
Which we know isn't true.
Right. Those experts at the factory said, no way.
So was Craig straight up lying?
Or did he just see what he wanted to see?
Like convince himself it was a Mauser. So his brain just filled in the details.
Could be. Or maybe, like, with Boone, he felt some pressure,
From his department.
Yeah, to back up his colleague.
Even if he knew it was wrong.
It's amazing how much weight these little details carry.
In a case this big, I guess every little thing matters.
Every word, every inconsistency could be a clue.
All right, 3 down, 3 to go. What about Deputy Sheriff Luke Mooney?
He was there for the search, but didn't say he found the rifle.
Not at first, anyway.
Right. Then later in an interview, he changed his story.
So was he just trying to get some attention?
Maybe memory is a funny thing. You know, it can change over time.
I guess so. Maybe hearing other people's stories or seeing it on the news. It could affect what you remember.
Yeah. Or maybe he realized saying he found the rifle made him sound more important.
Could be. It's human nature to want to be part of something big.
Especially something like this that the whole world was watching.
Okay, 2 more left.
Mm-hmm.
What about Charlie Dellinger?
Ah, Dellinger. This one's a real head-scratcher.
It is. He never said he found the rifle.
But his partner, Detective Cody, swore up and down that Dellinger did it.
But they're both dead now, so we can't ask them.
It's frustrating, right? Like solving a puzzle and half the pieces are gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can only guess why Cody said that.
Was he trying to cover for Dellinger? Or was there some secret agreement between them?
So many possibilities. It's mind-boggling.
Okay, last but not least, Paul K. Wilkins.
The one with the official report and everything.
And the one who actually knew those rifles.
Out of everyone, his story makes the most sense.
It does. But even with Wilkins, there are still questions. If he knew those rifles so well, why didn't he say something when Weitzman and Craig got it wrong?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't want to question them.
Or maybe he just wasn't there when they said it.
Yeah. Or maybe even with his knowledge. It was just too chaotic to be sure.
So where does this leave us? We've looked at 6 different stories, each one with problems and contradictions.
Do we know for sure who found the rifle?
I don't think we can say for sure, but we've definitely learned a lot about this whole situation.
And about how poorly the evidence was handled.
Which makes you wonder about the whole investigation.
Right. If they couldn't even get this right, what else did they mess up?
So what's the takeaway for our listeners?
I think it's, don't just believe everything you hear.
Especially about historical events.
Do your own research. Question things. Look at the evidence from different angles.
Because even with something like the Kennedy assassination, there are still mysteries to solve.
And who knows? Maybe one of our listeners will be the one to crack this case wide open.
That would be awesome.
So as we wrap up this episode, one last question for everyone listening.
Right.
If we don't even know who found the rifle, what else about the official story might be wrong?
Good luck with the research, everyone.
And until next time, keep diving deep